What's popular, YouTube? Another day, another demo, and today a monumental day for all fans of Na'Vi, because today is the day that Na'Vi were able to reverse sweep Gambit. I was live doing a podcast. It's 6:44 p.m. and Na'Vi have just beaten Gambit after taking down Spirit and ending first at the CIS RMR. A huge accomplishment for the roster, who have struggled to beat Gambit after beating them a couple of times in a row, started to lose consistently to this lineup, and have now kind of conquered the idea of winning in a position where they come into a best of 5 with a disadvantage. And also, they lost the first map and performed a reverse sweep, which I think might be the second or third time that this has ever happened in CSGO. Maybe, one of 5 times in total where a reverse sweep in a best of 5 has happened. This is pretty enormous, especially to do versus the best team currently in the game, which is Gambit. So, yes, I stopped watching after Ancient. I thought it was going to be a repeat. This is really, really crazy stuff. And look who's at the top of all of it. Now, this video is not going to be about Bit, and it's in fact not even going to be about this series, but I just wanted to touch on this because I think we'll have to go back and watch Bit play in this match. He was at the top of the scoreboard versus Gambit. He showed an insane level, I think, over in a couple of games, but specifically on Mirage with like a 23 kill CT side here. There's stuff to unpack from this, and yeah, we'll have to come and visit this again. But just before this match, not only did they do this today, but they also, in the same day, beat Spirit in a best of 3, and s1mple at the front of all of it over on Inferno had 42 kills. He went 42 and 14 with a 92% KAST, 160 ADR across both halves, a 2.57 rating in a 25 round match, plus 28, the best KPR of all time. Tentatively, I think slightly better KPR was reported by my chat than Config had. Maybe on his overpass map or whatever it was, and insane in both, of course. 27 kills on the CD side, 167 ADR, 2.70 rating, and on the T side, 15 kill half as well. Unbelievable stuff. We're gonna watch the whole thing. It might just be a frag movie. I don't know what to expect when it comes to this game because I didn't watch it live. So yeah, we're just here. We're just simple enjoyers here to witness greatness once again. On the, some would say the best resolution of all time, 1280 by 960 from his POV, straight to your eyeballs. And, the conversation, this year is who's going to be the number 1 player. I think s1mple is the number 1 player until further notice. And I think the more interesting conversation is how many Gambit players can squeeze into the top 10. And for me, I think that there's a really high % chance that you could have 2 players in the top 10, but also 2 players in the top 5, which is something that has been a important thing to mention when it comes to Na'Vi for a long time. That s1mple Electronic are 2 top 5 players. No matter how bad the team is, that throughout over the years, and even though we've bagged on Na'Vi and people have talked about their inconsistency and stuff, they have maintained the position number 2 in the world. They have won major tournaments consistently throughout these past 2 years. Sorry, not consistently, but over in different spots, major tournaments. They've had huge runs. If we go back to LAN right now, I'd say they'd probably be considered the best team in the world because of their LAN buff. They'd probably get a small buff. Maybe Gambit might take a little bit of time to get used to things. Na'Vi are a serious contender. They technically always have been, and it's easy to forget that. But this is a team that they have 2 top 5 players. They've been relatively consistent. Now they have Bit as a permanent long-term upgrade to Flamey, and he's been delivering too. But at the helm of all of it, of course, it's this man right here, s1mple, who has no fear and can consistently perform versus any team, and had an absolutely lights-out game. Just basically, another one where everybody died as soon as he saw them. So here we are to see how he does it. I don't know how he did it. I'm actually shocked to see this happen on Inferno. I think there are certain maps that allow you to rotate so many times within one round that you can just be everywhere at once. And no matter what the map is, s1mple is the guy who rotates. I honestly would guess that s1mple rotates more than any other player in CSGO, and that he is able to be in the most spots in each round in all of his pro matches over any other pro. I would take that guess. I am almost positive. I know this is kind of a silly one, but there was the Mad Monk sponsorship with Blast, and they counted steps for each pro player, and s1mple was always like the #1 in terms of steps on certain maps that they played. And I was like, yeah, if you look at him play Nuke, for example, this is a map where I'm very, very comfortable saying he is rotating a ton, and holy crap, that's a really fast 3K already. You see that quick disengage after he takes that first peek, immediately moves into a position to just fall back and get more kills. Ripping him up, just ecos right now, so I don't think he's impressing himself just yet, but we can already see a little bit of the magic here. Delayed grenade into the steps, or when he feels like Spirit are going to jump up to maybe boost in ult. And it also has to be on a timing where if they don't boost, if they peek him, then he has to make sure to throw that nade before they can peek him, because they can just peek him with his nade out and then he's fucked. I actually like this grenade more than bouncing the nade off of the skybox, which some people do from lane side. Sometimes you'll see the pit player at a certain timing on the round throw that nade over the roof, bounce it off the skybox, and try to hit the guy who is jumping up. But in my opinion, nades that bounce off the skybox seem to, on average, be a little bit less effective. It feels like there's something wrong with the physics where if the nade explodes right where you are, it does less damage. I don't know. That's a suspicion on my part, but I feel like it's harder to do enough damage from that position. It also might be that the nade, when it bounces off the skybox, doesn't go far enough down before it explodes, and that's a problem. So I like a nade like the one s1mple just threw instead. I feel like that can get more damage off. And here's a spam timing. This is an important thing to do, actually, if you're sitting in cubby to try to kill people who are wrapping lane. It's a huge punish. There's not a lot you can do besides shoot back in the position you think that they're going. But if you're, you have a big timing window that you can cover with 30 bullets. If you're shooting from arch to under balcony here, and you know that they're wrapping lane, if you're shooting 30 bullets down, you're going to hit them. You will almost certainly hit them, and it's a really important thing to do. Opening pick towards mid. Chopper gets killed. Easy cross for s1mple. And let's see what the move is now. Instantly onto the next position. He'll swap up with his lane player. That's crazy. Even looks to the right to catch someone jumping in the window. They try to compensate and get map control back really fast. s1mple gets away with his life, but he gets some information here. And now once again, okay, so the moto smoke's gonna come down. He's got a teammate up with him on arch, and here is an unnatural rotation that is the kind of rotation that only s1mple would make. He'll literally play bumper cars and double up with his teammate if he feels like his intuition is going to bring him there and it makes sense, and his teammates just work around it. And I think part of the magic of s1mple is you can always trust him to make a really good rotation when his game sense tells him to do so. And a lot of the times you'll see his teammates moving around him where it doesn't feel like they're getting full info that he's coming or that he's there yet. They just have to make their adjustments. And it's really important on Na'Vi for this to happen, because that's how you catch timings, right? This is s1mple now killing Dexter, who's assuming there is a 0% chance there's an op sitting on this corner, deep, like holding a deep angle in this spot. And look, s1mple just catches the timing right there. And that's what it is. That's how s1mple gets more kills than other elite players. It's that he is going to rotate into positions you didn't expect him to be in. And yes, he hits all the nasty flicks as well, but he's constantly catching these timings because of how much he moves. And I'm glad that we get to see exactly, that right now, the amount of times that his teammates are rotating around him. One of the issues, honestly, with rotating this much is that, holy shit, Whoa. Okay, that was also wow. That was a crazy shot, man. Chopper. What the hell? I barely saw him. One of the issues with rotating too much is that the more you rotate, the less deep map control you can have sometimes. So, for example, like on Inferno, you'll notice that Navi don't always play for bottom banana, but instead they'll just gamble stack over and over again, or they'll try to find their opening kill, then move around and lean really hard to one side of the map. And honestly, sometimes that looks really bad because like better teams work a bit harder and they try to do certain things to make you make bad decisions or whatever. Navi are just like, fuck it, I'm gonna gamble, and they end up playing correctly sometimes. That's the reason why Navi have always been a consistent Inferno threat, even if they've never been the best Inferno team in the world. In my opinion, they have never been a team that has been a standout team on Inferno by the way that they play, but in terms of their results, they've always been able to beat Astralis in their prime or whatever, outside of the, Astralis that set the 13 in a row streak. They've been a threat to Astralis on the map. They're, throughout the entirety of 2020, they're always able to take Inferno off of some teams. And sometimes they play badly, sometimes they don't, but it's because they, honestly, the way that they rotate, a lot of the times it doesn't have to do with information. This is not one of those examples, though. You've got deep banana control here, 4 players on A. This is the most textbook round of Inferno you could possibly ask for. And now someone dies going halfway up banana, which actually makes this a little interesting. So it depends on in what fashion Mir got this kill. And now we're just paying attention to the mini-map here to see if it's going to be smoked down on CT, if they're going to be approaching. Wow, they're coming in the site with no smoke down on banana, and they kill s1mple because of Mir's unbelievable individual frags, but that was almost a horrible round from Spirit, actually. I don't know what, they just aped it, really, running into the site. I guess they didn't have a smoke to work with. They decided to double peek into CT, but that is a strat you can do, but with the op rotating in the way that it is. Oh my god, Bit wins the round. Yeah, that's crazy. They lost some member. Hey, look, we're getting a little bit of Bit's POV as well. They lost some members going for that open cross, and I'm not sure if it's because they didn't have utility, but I don't know how they didn't have a single smoke getting onto banana at that timing. I don't know. Maybe they were really broke, but this is already a nuts. It's already nuts to watch this in POV version because of how it looks without X-ray on. That is something else. How to do a tweet. Missed a kill. And again, we get out of there. And of course, there is always the, I can get a kill, I can stay, I can get a kill, I can rotate all the way around to the other side of the map. And we're going to see a little bit of both in a game like this. All right, let's see what happens. s1mple taking his time to see if they try to come back towards lane. And we've got 2 flashes of Molly. He's got a couple of teammates behind him that I don't think have used their nades over on the B site. So there wasn't too much early pressure. He takes the halls. He's very concerned about them holding a deep angle here, clearing absolutely everything. And he's the kind of guy who will skip angles whenever he doesn't feel like there's something to worry about. And now in the one-on-one, is there a way to kill Dexter? He could be up here in cold. And this is a position where s1mple, does he have him? Oh no, Dexter comes swinging out. Really the only way Dexter doesn't die there, basically, is just swinging first, and he finds that timing as s1mple throws out the incendiary. So just the correct play from Dexter to win the round. Comes down to a very fine margin. 2 rounds here for Spirit. And with 1 player alive, they're still knocking on death's door. It's a spot where if Navi win this, they're going to be broke once again. Broke boys. And see, even though he took his op shot, it's also a game to not rotate, because then they think you left, and then they catch you in a rotator spot, and they try to execute. And I guarantee this is the timing that Team Spirit are looking for. Oh, wicked fash. Oh my god, the instant no-scope on the mirror. And there's SDY goes to the top of oranges to trade him. But I think that the op is actually in reach if Bit wants to try to play for it. Oh, but more than that, I mean, they can actually just play for the round now. 2 smokes as well. Now they have to clear Emo, and there could be a player pool. Let's see how they approach it. There is the player Emo. No, they don't get the kill. No, it's Chopper to deal with it. Great crossfire between the two, and it looks like there was 1 Banana, 1 Emo. They played off each other really well there. Okay. And Spirit surviving makes this game a whole lot more competitive. We call it Emo. It could be Dark. I don't know. We've always called it Emo in NA. Nothing to see here. I mean, considering the game that S1mple has, of course, probably gets some kill in the exit here. Okay, he just does, right? Okay, gets another. Okay, fuck. All right. Let's keep it going, though. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. There's no rifle. There's no op, which makes this even more interesting. Let's see what the opening play is for him if he's not opping. And we will be looking at Bit. Yeah, I gotta look at Bit. I mean, I wanted to look at Bit more than this, but this is, you know, probably the highest KPR. I think the highest KPR of all time. I think is the stat for S1mple in this performance. So it's a demo that must be watched. It's a demo that must be watched. I'm super invested in Bit's storyline, and I'm nothing but impressed and amazed at how good he's gotten, how fast. But you know, this obviously is simple. It's simple. He's got to steal the show by setting a record even during Bit's day. Okay, I honestly don't even know where the second player was there. Did he just spray someone down in pit? I don't even know. That's for the YouTube frogs to be able to rewind for. I'm not gonna check. I don't even know how he even got that second kill. Okay, we got the Disco Deagle in the HUD. Pay no attention to it. Focus on the game, okay? This is an interesting stack, actually. This is different from like, so like the G2 mid stack is my favorite. The one there's 2 guys, 1 close on either side, 1 in front of Boiler, just behind Boiler, and then 1 close wall on Arch, and then 1 behind him. And then this is like a more passive version where you've got the same 4 players, but everyone's just tucked a bit more. So I actually want to see what the response is now. Did he just throw flashes out to Arch? Let's see. So Navi here that they take over mid control, but they're not even going to. They're trying to bait them into fully approaching. So I think S1mple would be happy to see this smoke. He's a teammate right here as well. Let's see how they play off each other. It's 18 seconds left. Are they actually going B? They didn't take any peek on mid, so I guess they're going up lane. Oh no, S1mple are definitely going to win this round. Yeah, that's actually too easy for them because they know now they're not moving. They've got the stack and they're in that passive setup. That's actually quite a good stack. I mean, maybe it only works versus Spirit here, but I could see that working versus other teams because if you take bracket control, you're still on the eco, stacking the site, and you have so many close rotations, and you don't die as soon as they come up mid to their nades. As you can see from S1mple's POV, 1 smoke landed behind him to punish Na'Vi if they were rotating, but anyone playing in a close spot like that, playing in CT, playing up against this wall, they had full vision. He was never blind. He got lots of audio cues, so that could be a nice style of stack to throw in there every once in a while. But yeah, Spirit didn't do their full due diligence, of course. Not to say they made a mistake. You can lose an eco on Inferno, and it's not always your fault. If a team gambles, there's lots of very strong fights for you to take as Deaglers on CT side if you pick the correct site. Sometimes it is really a 50-50. I'm not one of those people that believes that you can always blame the team who, the team anti-ecoed incorrectly. It's not always true, in my opinion. You can play the round quote-unquote perfectly and still lose. Partly because of how strong the Deagles are and also the ability to stack. It transcends the map pool in general. You just, you can always stack correctly. And the only thing that Spirit could have done differently is got the info, made a decision sooner so they could actually fall out of their plan. or play their default a bit more aggressively. Like got the info basically, but you could still lose. You could still lose. So here's a round, an example where, this is a round where I would say I don't immediately like Navi's position at all, honestly. I hate when Navi play like this, I won't lie to you. Like, in this spot, s1mple has 0 support. They have no lane pressure. They have no crossfire. They have no banana control. They have 2 players in rotator spots on B. And s1mple is their first point of contact, and he's playing out of cubby. Like, honestly, I hate this setup. Let's see what happens. I fully expected, like, because of this game, obviously the amount of kills that this guy got. Like, they countered him. They made a peek. He got 2. He's standing in a fire. I mean, literally everything goes wrong, and he still. That was Navi, and that was the most Navi round ever. That was Navi right there. If you ever want your friend asks you, like, how would you define Navi? Like, just show them this round. That is Navi. He had no escape grenades. He was by himself. He had no one to peek with him. He didn't have an op, and he got countered with Molotov, and he still got 2 kills and lived. Okay, Perfecto goes up, and they just instantly stack, actually. This is already, normally you'd 3-2, with 2 players being on B and 3 players playing on A. In a position like this, where especially you're up 5-4. But they play off their feeling, and Boomich gifts his life to invite them into the site. They're not going to know that s1mple's here. And based on, Perfecto, let's see how they clear him. They could also go A still. Navi are playing on 0 information. And this could be a huge round for s1mple because they're almost certainly not going to clear this at all. Yeah, they're very slow to it. There's lots of time, but I mean, how could you expect them to be quad? And this is another moment where Navi, again, they don't play a style of Inferno that is complete, that relies heavily on information. They might have had some sick read. That's the only thing that you can say, but consistently with this team, you'll see them make plays like this. And it's not to say that they're a bad team either for doing that. Sometimes even Gambit do that as well. They will just appear to blind gamble and go off of reads because Inferno is a tough map, and sometimes you can't have full info without putting yourself at like a great risk. So does Bit win this round? All right, let's see. I think yeah. Oh. There's a chance he gets opt. Dexter definitely dropped pool here. Oh, sorry. Magic's okay. And they just both signed up for that duel. Magic's won. Got out of there. Great shot from Magic's, and Bit could have rushed it, but he assumed that he made the gamble himself that Magic's was going to fake the plant and fight him, and just trusted himself to win the 50-50 thereafter. But yeah. Okay, and here's a timing where you've, of course, got to worry about ults. And honestly, I think one of the hardest parts about playing pro, from my perspective, when I watch these games, is figuring out a way to get that little advantage to get the opening kill because of how careful everybody is. And 2021 defaults are so nuts that it's insane to have players like s1mple who can continue to have so much impact when so much of, like, the first 45 seconds around is just ironed out to a point that there are just no crinkles whatsoever. You don't get opt, you don't give a kill away. You have to force the other team to make some huge risk to go for an opening, and then ideally for the team in the default, you end up in a situation like this. And this is already a very decent round. So one smoke pushes s1mple out of any information the team has, and in fact, he'll actually just make a hard rotate over towards B. See, he takes a small run. Let's see. Maybe he's trying to bait it and see if they are coming up mid. He'll rotate around to library to take a peek on arch. Let's see if he's getting anything out of this. Not quite. But yes, this is the most limited that they can be. So Spirit in a good spot. The only thing is there's 20 seconds now. And now if they make one mistake, they could actually fuck up and execute. If there's too little time. 10 seconds. The bomb goes down. Perfecto is able to delay. Boomich is on the site. He's also got 2 kills from Orange. This is just not great from Spirit to take that much time. Even if you're going to wait down the clock, okay, your small advantage is that the rotations are going to be the worst. At the last few seconds, you're going to be able to, if we get both kills on the site, we can get the palm down. If there's more time on the clock, you might be more at risk. The less time there is on the clock, the more the other team is willing to bite on the smallest bit of information. One flash, one smoke. They might rotate off that, and then you can exec. But the downside is that if there's only 2 players on site and you don't insta-kill them both, or you get a situation like that, Perfecto goes 1 for 1, they can't find the second guy. You just don't have time to clear out all the angles, to take your time, be meticulous. And so there's, in my opinion, there has to be some kind of hard line there. You can't be executing when there's 13 seconds left. Almost ever, especially when you have that great of a round. They got tons of space out of Na'Vi. They had s1mple rotating himself all the way out to library. No info on mid, no info top banana. They could have executed 30 seconds and had the exact same play, except had more time to kill both players on B site. So, my opinion, some of these rounds sometimes it's inexcusable. Old style Na'Vi, some of the CIS teams, they are taking just a bit too long. It makes it looks ridiculous, honestly. Even sometimes when it works, it looks ridiculous. But sometimes that can be just because of foggy calling, People are in their own heads. But I really believe that if you're going to play against Na'Vi, you have to be comfortable with the idea that you could do everything right and they might still gamble stack and be in the right site. So there's really even less point in taking that long to choose a site. We're going to move on to the second half now. 27 kills on that CT side. He was right place, right time. And now T side, I think another 15 off this. Let's see how much they push. Okay. We said the 2 HEs off banana. There's probably going to be 3 players in a setup like this where they're pushing down. They got their 1 kill, but the answer is back here. And of course, the very normal thing to do is just to squeeze, okay? If you get pushed off one location, there can only be 5 players in total on the map for the CT side. They must be light somewhere. Let's go ahead and try to take over A control. It feels like an emergency thing to do, but it's a pistol round. There's very little utility. Smoking mid on the CT side on a pistol round is going to be much rarer. So, being able to squeeze like this is very normal. I'm not surprised, even though Spirit get the first kill that not very able to punish. Just comes down to headshots. Pistol rounds ain't that deep, bro. You can analyze them into the ground. Sometimes it really just comes down to a couple of headshots. What on earth was that HE? And they go for the delayed mid push, and s1mple just peeks it late. I guess because they're just not anticipating an opper, so it's quite an easy decision. And electronic punches off the smoke as well. And I think that's a CT smoke, right? That's actually supposed to be used for them. It just gets used against them. I'm really curious about this next round, actually. Let's see. And again, I think we're looking at 25 rounds in total. And what settings are you on, s1mple? I can't see any of these people. 3 more to rack up. It's been a super impactful half. That stood out for me because he hasn't actually got that many eco kills. He's got a lot of rifle kills. Okay, the other most impactful half I've seen has to be the Device versus Fnatic. I think it was 38 kills in the map on a very low amount of rounds on Train. I covered that on the YouTube channel a couple months ago as well. That was Device's kill record, I think personal record. That was a very, very impactful game overall. This is right up there already, seeing a lot of impactful rounds outside of just pure eco farms. It feels like he's got definitely more rifle kills than he has even ecos. But I've watched every single kill record and every single like top performance in a demo, whether we've done a YouTube video on it or not. I watched world edits, I watched flamies, I've watched configs. Those are, I think all three of those were quite padded, honestly. They were simultaneously insane performances with really, really good kills, but also just records because of the sheer amount of kills they got versus pistol lane players, especially world edits. I mean, that barely had any. That map on train, he barely had. I mean, I don't think he might have killed like 3 people who had a rifle that entire. Honestly, he did more economic damage by killing a bunch of pistoling players with an op in that game than he would have done if he just let his teammates get the kills. I'm sure of it. Nice clear here by s1mple on coffins. Bomb will get planted. Let's see what the post plant's like. 3 on 3. Okay. Let's see what he does with the situations. With the situation. Yeah, very. I guess they have good info. There's no op here. Very confident peeking CT. He gets mollied out. And this pillar is so annoying if you play it correctly, but he gets flashed off this. The counter flash helps out a lot. Oh my god. Finally a bad round. They're a little scared of him, but he just can't hit that shot. There's an opportunity. It was a good flash from Banana. He couldn't do it. Batter unlucky, s1mple. Kill record, KPR record. Maybe we call there's the video title right there. Batter unlucky. Three at the bottom of Banana, wow. And not shy to spam car, try to take things over. Spirit back on the site, throwing some passive grenades in. I could actually see that player with maybe s1mple needs my settings. Maybe he can see more on ecos, but I can see more on rifles, so maybe I need to send him my settings instead. Because that guy, I could see that guy clear as day. So we meet halfway. Maybe I'll use some of it. Maybe I'll switch to 1280 by 960. This flash over for pit. So that flash so they can get out of halls, or at least peek. You don't actually have to push off that. You kind of want to let your lane players work up first before you come out of halls. Because if your halls player, well, they have 2 halls players, so they have 2 outs, but if your halls player dies, pit is in jeopardy. So it's very important in terms of how you're entering on A this way, that your lane players work up a bit before your hall player actually commits out. Your halls player is there to get some information, maybe take a little damage, getting some info. Identify where the pit player is. Make sure he can't peek certain angles, because that pit player has to feel stuck, where he's got to deal with a halls player and lane. And then you both can kind of peek at the same time. And ideally, after that, your halls player can get the kill on pit or whatever it is. But it's important not blow your load too early when you're playing halls if you've got lane players coming out. That was a bit tricky the way they do that. Normally, I don't know if Na'Vi do that a lot, but I know a lot of the time halls player is alone, and bomb's not halls. They had 2 there that round, so they could have forgot about him. Yeah, I think s1mple should play on high effects if he's playing on low effects. That actually helps with Molotovs, I think. There's actually been a thing in CS, playing on high settings for the most part is only beneficial to visibility. Like model settings on high, shaders on high helps you see models better. Effect settings on high helps you see over Molotovs better. They've made it so that high settings are actually better, I think, overall for most. High shadows means you see more shadows. I mean, I actually play on low shadows just because more performance, because shadows, I think, are the most demanding for any individual setting. Even though you can not see some shadows, it's worth it for me. I'd rather have the frames. He just offhands that far smoke and see. I mean, what is the game plan here? They're in jeopardy of Spirit taking over Banana control. You can see the anxiety on Na'Vi, honestly. Oh, but this is given away. That's not going to work out. Perfecto gets the kill. inside of Graveyard, and Magix. What a fantastic round for Magix. He has 3 players on that hold, back against the wall, and now the 2 rotators here for s1mple. Let's see how he reads it. The flash has come over. It feels like it's an arch play, and he actually moves out to, you know, fully commit to the idea that it's going to be arch, and Chopper ends up winning the duel. He steps back from that. You know, kind of has the correct call. Spirit, try to zone him. Sometimes you throw that flash, and if it hits right, then the player who gets flashed goes into one of those more obvious positions. They'll play inside cold. They'll play inside backside. But at the same time, you could see as soon as those flashes came over, s1mple was very, very comfortable in his position. Decided to show himself to lane completely and said, "Oh, I know that these guys are pretty much here." That doesn't actually win the round. I don't know if high shaders fuck Molly visibility. I don't know. Maybe it is high effects, low shaders. I'm not sure. But I know high shaders help for model visibility. You can see they have a glossy sheen, you know? Like when I'm, you know, after a long day of casting, when I need to be oil blotted and I'm shiny. That's the effect that you get when you have the high shaders on. Mans are glowing. AK, which is an army of pawns here. Tech9's running out. s1mple the first trade on Mir. And they're making great progress, taking over construction control. They have to worry about oranges for a second, but look, they're using the pistols perfectly, actually. So they're clearing out all of the correct angles, and this is the support you need, of course. For s1mple, he smokes construction out, plants behind the fountain, and now has the op in hand. And he had some information. He doesn't die. And now in the 1v2, he's got like a 50-50 chance of the spot. Look at this rotation. Oh my god, hits that flick. Could have died as well to SDY. Very scary situation. Man, gotta love that confidence. Unreal. That's an ace, actually, for s1mple. It's kind of exactly how you want it to go. When you have pistoling players, the player who's third in, you've got the Tech9s up front trading. You're making sure they're clearing out everything, and that is the definition of making space right there, ladies and gentlemen. Your Tech9 is getting into emo, getting both of them killed before your rifle comes in, and guarantees you get that frag. And it's, of course, also, he's the VIP right now. He's not only the best player on the team, but he's having the best game right now as well. So that's I mean, there are times back in the day, you know, on Deuce's Navi where you'd look at the guns and you'd be like, what the fuck are they thinking, honestly? With you know, they'd stick s1mple with a deagle and have like AKs on anyone else. I mean, everyone else, it was just insane to even see. But this is what you're supposed to do. Sometimes you know, Perfecto could be having lately. Perfecto's had some games where you want him to have the rifle just because the way he's playing, he's super crafty. He's great with the AK. You know, sometimes it makes sense, but I really do think you should think about who's just playing hot that day over anything else. All right, let's see how s1mple moves with the op in the explosion. Here we have so many angles open up as the rifles come through. They spread the sight, and s1mple is keeping his options open. He doesn't scope in on anything. He just waits to see who's going to get tagged, and then we'll scope in and try to shoot from there. But at that point, when Na'Vi take over this much map control, they've exploded, and they've gotten the coffins, which is a key point for the T's to get when they run in. As soon as they've got to that point, they really are feeling good. Oh, now there's info on 3 players, and Electronic is able to tag one, C2, and tuck. Delaying for some time. They have to stick this. Boom, it's going to spam through the smoke. See about this lineup. Oh, they're just running away. Easy round. 14-9. Beautiful stuff. Good explosion. I mean, the spacing has been really good on the T side here for Na'Vi. Overall, even apart from s1mple, he's usually, of course, like third in because, again, they're trying to set him up for the most kills and make sure he lives the longest. So he's not taking a lot of opening duels here. He's here for the refrags. And oh my god, the smoke. The smoke actually just... What? Is that a lineup? What is that? That landed... How did that go down so much? What is... that? The thing is that I would say... Is that a lineup? But it looks really T-favored. The way that he's just standing over top of it. That was... I really feel like they didn't line that up. That looks like the smoke almost fell through the map slightly. Yeah, it must have fallen in the ground. That was that looked very T-favored the way that s1mple could stand in there and fight. Yeah, we must be in Florida because that smoke just fell in a sinkhole. Oh, always nice. I think he just hit opponent with the smoke. Wow, beautiful stuff. That's just off the audible. Just he didn't even have to flick really. As soon as he jumped up, aiming in the right spot, and bad goes to worse. 6 rounds just to tie it up, and it's already kind of a eco here. But yeah, the spacing from Na'Vi has been very good overall. The explosiveness has been very good. T's are making tons of space. s1mple is just kind of keeping up the right pace. They're making sure he doesn't die too early, and of course he's just shooting hot. So this round is just pure chaos. I mean, this is one of those moments where I'm like, I don't even know if he called this. But that's it. So what's the verdict? It's as good as it looks. This is an insane map from s1mple. And again, I think it's the KPR record set in this match by s1mple. It was super impactful. Definitely top 2 for me, along with Device's game versus Fnatic a couple of months back. That wasn't a record, though. This was, so in terms of KPR. But in terms of pure quality of kills, where he got the kills, it was up there. And honestly, that T side was very nice to watch overall from Na'Vi. I think got a lot of context on how Na'Vi play Inferno and watching s1mple. And I think like tomorrow or the day after, we got to go back and watch Bit, because Bit was extraordinary today, and it would be tragic if we didn't watch Bit. We've got to go back and watch Bit. I think. I also want to watch Nafany on Ancient in the first map of the final. He had like 94 ADR, a good map. And yeah, that's the magic of s1mple. Beating timing, catching rotations, hitting all his shots, and great game sense. Smart guy. Handsome too. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, and see you again soon for another demo.